We started with 6 athletes, and now we're up to almost 1,200. We are the largest program in the state. Along with that, we are the only program that's fully integrated into a school district. A lot of them work with school districts, but we're the only one that's part of a school district. Just a little bit about myself. I started as a volunteer coach in 2012 I coached swimming, powerlifting, basketball. I also ran the powerlifting for the whole state. And then when I'm sure a lot of you remember Sherry Andrews, who's a previous coordinator, left in 2019, I applied for and got her position. I moved this year to Dominion Middle School, which is great because it has a lot of facilities that we can use, which I'll go into a little bit later. So there's my information if you ever need to send me anything in my email there. And there's really 2 aspects of our program. I put 3, but I'm going to nail it down to 2 that I want to talk about. The first is our in-school program, and that's available to all our elementary, middle, and high school students. And then we have our evening program, that's open to anybody age and up, and it ages 8 and up, and it's anybody that's currently enrolled in Columbus schools or that graduated from Columbus schools. You guys will hear me most often refer to it as our Comets program. Because just like any high school team, we call all our teams, have a nickname with it, and ours is the Comets, which is what we've been using since 1986. There's our logo that we use. So the in-school program, which hopefully a lot of you are familiar with by this point, takes place during the school day. It is open to any students in our district who have an IEP. So for a long time, it was just MD students, but it's also MD, ED, anybody in a CHIPS program, high incident, anybody on an IEP is qualified for Special Olympics. They are able to compete both in basketball as well as track and field. And any school that has any students that would qualify is able to participate. We provide everything. So it's uniforms, equipment, if we need to bus you somewhere for games, if we need referees, anything you guys need, we provide all of it. It's at no cost. All we ask for in return is that the schools provide at least one person act as a teacher or coach to train the athletes, and to practice at least one time 30 minutes a week. So it's a pretty low standard that we ask for to meet that. A lot of times, if you have APE staff in your building, a lot of them will work with you on providing those training opportunities. So hopefully a lot of you have gotten to attend our in-school basketball skills that we've had at Schiller Park. Last week for our elementary kids. We have our middle school and high school ones. And then we're also right in the swing of our basketball season, which are our middle school and high school students as well. But really what I wanted to really focus on is our evening program, our Comets program. This is practices and games for this program take place outside of school hours. We're run just like a varsity sport pretty much, other than the practice commitment. So we offer a wide range of sports. We have track and field, basketball skills, bowling, flag football, bocce, golf, gymnastics. We just started pickleball this year, powerlifting, soccer, softball skills, tennis, and volleyball. And then I think we're going to add equestrian horse riding this summer. So most of the sports, you have to be at least 8 years old to participate. All the sports, you need to be at least 8. A couple of them, like powerlifting, we start at age 16, just from a safety standpoint. We have both team and individual sports available, and we group by age and ability. So, for example, for basketball, we have 6 basketball teams. We have some that are real basic skills where they'll struggle getting the ball up and down the court and score 20 points a game. And then we have a high-level team that literally will have guys take 2 steps and be able to dunk. So similar to varsity sports, high school varsity sports, we compete against teams at a local level, which are other area teams, and then we can qualify for regionals and even go up to state events. The one thing I should mention too with our evening program is most teams practice once a week. And then some of the teams like basketball or volleyball may have an extra game a week, but it's not a huge time commitment. I think a lot of parents, when they think of sports, think it's 5 or 6 days a week, like a high school varsity sport, and it's 1 day a week, usually for an hour a week. So it's not a huge time commitment on anybody's end. And I just want to show some pictures of the different sports we do and just talk a little bit about the opportunities that those athletes get. So this is our picture from our group that went up to, we took 3 teams up to the flag football state championships at the Canton Football Hall of Fame. We got up there Friday night, got to stay in a hotel, competed Friday, and then we actually went on a tour of the Hall of Fame. And once again, we provide everything. So meals, transportation, lodging, that's all covered. So none of the athletes had to pay anything to go up there unless they wanted souvenirs at the Hall of Fame. This is from our softball championships, which is at Sport Force Park, which is right next to Cedar Point. So same thing there is we got to go up for the weekend, playing a bunch of tournaments. We ended up finishing second place. Our athletes also got to go, thanks to Special Olympics Ohio, which is kind of our parent group that we fall under. All our athletes got to go over to Cedar Point for a while, which is really fun. Golf championships down at Cincinnati. This is last year's picture, but we just finished up our winter state championships up at Bowling Green, which is basketball. And then this year we took a bunch of swimmers up, spent the weekend up at Bowling Green University in a hotel, got to have a good time. And then every summer we have our big state championships for a bunch of sports. It's at the end of June and we stay at Ohio State for the whole weekend. So we stay in the dorms. The athletes get to compete. They also get to eat in the college lunch areas. We have dances, a tent town, which is like an athlete village. Think of a midway at a carnival, and all kinds of fun activities, pizza parties and everything else, movies they get to see. This is bocce from summer games, high jump. This is our volleyball team that won state there. So that's kind of our sports activities. And the other thing our Comets program does is we offer a lot of activities outside of your traditional sports model. And one of the things I've really realized, and I think everybody has, especially as we went through COVID, is that the social component for our students and our students that have graduated, they're part of our alumni program, are just as important, if not more important, than the sports aspect of our program. So these, I just want to show you some fun things we do. So this was a bowling tournament / Halloween contest that we had with some of our athletes. Lisa Monnerland, who I think is the supervisor for a lot of you, actually came out and bowled with us as well. Every summer we have a Summerfest picnic where we have all our athletes in our program come out with their families. We have a big picnic, get some food catered in with some food trucks. Then we set up cornhole and a bunch of other activities that the athletes get to participate in. This is a unified flag football where all our flag football athletes get to play flag football. We have about 50 athletes that come in from Ohio State to play with them. So this is a kind of picture at Dominion. So we have enough for 4 teams playing at once there, and they have a great time playing with the college students. Another picture of that group as well. This we just started this year as a unified pickleball league that we do. So we actually have some of our staff come in and play with the athletes here at Dominion and set up some portable courts, which was a lot of fun. And this is a meet we did with the Franklin County Special Olympics program. We did a mini swim meet and then had a giant cannonball contest off the diving boards at the end, which was a blast. And then we had a Christmas dance in December as well. So here at Dominion, so had all the athletes come out. Steve Aramo next to me there is 33rd year of playing basketball with us. He's having a good time. And then a lot of our athletes get opportunities for some special events. So this is Mia Crowley in the middle. She got to go out and actually present the ball for the opening tip at the OSU men's game that they played versus Iowa. And then this is a basketball clinic that Coach D ran for us, him and his varsity and JV teams over at Lyndon McKinley, which our athletes had a great time with. And then this is a unified tournament. We played with some of the Ohio State kids down in Louisville. We just played that a couple of weeks ago, won the championship, regional championship there. So I qualified with them to go on the nationals. So the reason I wanted to show all this, and the reason I asked I'm glad I get to meet with you guys now. We are getting ready to start up our spring sports program at the end of March. And it's a great opportunity for a lot of the students that you see to participate. And I really want to try and capture a lot of our seniors that'll be graduating soon to get involved with our program. Because frankly, if I don't capture their information now, it's harder to get once they graduate. And they can stay in this program for as long as they want to. We've had 4 of our 6 original athletes are still involved with our program. We have athletes that are 50 years old that have been in our program 25, 30 years that are still involved. So it's something they can do for the rest of their life. Real easy to start the enrollment process. So I just have a quick Google form, and I can't emphasize enough that it does not obligate anybody to participate in Special Olympics. It is a no-cost event. If you guys have some athletes, some students that you work with that you think would like to participate in Special Olympics, you're welcome to help fill this out with them. All I'm going to do is send on some information to their parents with them. If they want to do track this spring, it does not require them to do track. but that way I can get their information in my system so I can keep them updated with stuff. We require medicals and a code of conduct. That's all they have to do to participate. So the physical is just like one you would use with a high school sport. Any of our in-school students, we provide physicals for them. So that's something they don't need to worry about as well. And we just finally got this website up, but this is our website, which is the bit.ly.com Columbus School Special Olympics. That has our full sports calendar on there. It also has all the links if anybody wants to coach or volunteer, and it also has the athlete registration on there. So everything you need right on there to register. We also have a fairly active Facebook page. I've just found that's for our athletes, especially my adult athletes, that's what they like to use the most, to see pictures and keep in touch with the program. So that's what we've used. And once again, the link there. I think that's about it. And as I said, this is going to be pretty quick. So that's all I have to share as far as the video and stuff. Like I said, this is, I have really found with this program, it's a great opportunity to get our athletes. Yep, link in the chat.
We have is, do you ever need people to help work the events?
We do. So that is on that. There's a link to our website, or the bit.ly one. So if you go to our website, it actually has a section on there for volunteers. And then we use a Sign Up Genius for most of our events. So if you just go to there under more, it'll say volunteer opportunities, and you can just click on that and it'll pull up any volunteer opportunities. And then we're also always looking for coaches as well, which is another volunteer opportunity. Same thing as our athletes. It's not a huge coaching commitment. It's usually one day, maybe 2 days a week, depending on the sport, and that's it. It's you're not expected to be coaching like 5 or 6 hours a night.
I know we do have some coaches. So is it just based on their interests, or is it more of the need when they sign up? How do you place the coaches?
It's really based on
participants.
Yeah, it's really based on as far as the coaches, is based on interest of what you like to coach, because obviously we want coaches that are passionate about what they're coaching, but also and we don't require you to. It's great if you have a background in coaching, especially if you're going to be a head coach. We usually do ask you to, but we have a lot of assistant coaches that are new to sports, and we have a lot of head coaches that have coached for a while, and some training that Special Olympics Ohio offers. So we will get you up to speed. I know for myself, when I started as a basketball coach, I knew absolutely zero. And I went through kind of an understudy program with the head coach, and then I did a lot of other training where I was comfortable jumping in as a head coach at that point. And as far as athletes, when they sign up, we actually have an interest form, so they can just pick what sport they're interested in. Obviously, we want the same thing with that. We want them participating in sports they enjoy.
Okay, and then I did hear you mention, but there's clarification what wanted from Mr. John Thompson wants to know if you do have a bowling program, and if you can give a little bit more information about that.
Yes, so we do. We actually have 2 different seasons for bowling. So we have a spring season, which starts, it's a little later this year. So we bowl at HP Lanes, which is up off of Cleveland and Ennis. We bowl Saturday mornings. They have a bunch of tournaments going on in April, which is when we normally start. So we're starting in May this year, but that's May through July. And then we also have a fall bowling league, because bowling is probably our most popular sport. So I like to give those athletes, especially a couple times a year. So in the fall, September, October, we do another bowling league as well.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for unmuting. And if there's anyone else who would like to unmute during this time, that's fine too. If you have any questions or any feedback or any comments. John, we have a few more questions. It says, what is the grade point average for students, if any, do they need to have a certain grade status? What's that like?
We actually don't require any grade point average for the students.
Okay. And then Ann Sawyer is asking, must the athletes be only CCS students or former students?
So they can be currently enrolled in CCS or former students with Columbus schools. I will say there is a robust Special Olympics program in this area in general. So if any of you ever run into somebody else that wants to do Special Olympics, but they don't qualify for our program, Franklin County has one, Westerville, Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, All those have some type of Special Olympics program. I know all the coordinators that run those programs, so I can always get an athlete in touch with somebody else in a different program if you ever know somebody that's interested and they're out in Reynoldsburg and they really want to do Special Olympics. So
thank you, John. We have A. Anthony says, when does your next basketball session start for 10-year-olds?
Yeah, so basketball we just wrapped up. So two options for 10-year-olds depending how good they are. So we have a basketball skills program which is open to anybody ages 8 and up, which is the basics of passing, dribbling, and shooting. And it also gets them just used to a practice schedule and things like that. And we do have a couple school age teams, which are for anybody under 21. That's a tryout sport. Most of our team sports are tryout sports because we can only carry so many people on a team. So that's another option for them depending on what skill level they're at.
Go ahead. Please go ahead.
It's Brenda. Is there any particular event that you need more volunteers for?
Just because of the team size, bowling is always one we can use help with. So bowling, basketball coaches, and track are probably our 3 biggest needs that we can use help with.
Okay, thank you. And
yeah,
and it looks like John is also putting up his information again on the screen.
I was just going to share our screen for the website. So
okay.
This is what our website looks like here. So it's got so it has a history of our program. This is our full calendar on here, and this is a live calendar. So we update it as we go. So this is our spring sports here, and then starting in April with our things like that. We do work around the school schedule for most sports, like we're off for spring break. Then we have some of the pictures I showed you guys, but we try and put things up for our opportunities for athletes to shine. But then we also do have on that same page will be the registration links for the if you go back to our homepage, it has the athlete registration, which takes you right there. It's a super simple Google form to fill out. It's literally name, your date of birth, your address, then you hit next and it just asks you what sports you want to play. So super simple to get registered. It takes like 5 minutes to do it at the most.
Thank you for sharing, John. We have from Terry, it says, when is Special Olympics track this year?
Yeah, so track is one of our spring sports. So that starts the end of March. So our spring sports are track and field, volleyball, gymnastics, bocce, and bowling starts in May. I'm forgetting one, powerlifting. And then the nice thing as well is, so track and tennis is the other sport. Track and tennis are both at Whetstone High School on Tuesday nights, and then our other sports, gymnastics, volleyball, and bocce are Wednesday nights at Dominion. Powerlifting are Tuesday and Thursday nights at a gym in Worthington, and then bowling, as I said, is at HP Lanes on Saturdays.
Wow, John, you can keep up with all of that like that. That's great. We just appreciate you sharing that. We have Miss Nita Carter said she volunteered last year, really enjoyed it, wants to do so this year, and wants to know, will she use the link to sign up in the chat?
Yeah, if you just go to that link on there, you can it'll take you to the volunteer. If you go under the more on that link where the website is, it'll take you to volunteer opportunities. And I should offer as well, as far as volunteering, we also host on it's Saturday, May 6th this year, the Sports Classic, which is the largest regional sports qualifier in the state. So all those sports that I mentioned are at that day at Whetstone High School. We host that event. So it's track, the volleyball, bocce, all that. We have 800 athletes from across Central Ohio come out to participate. We usually need about 250 to 300 volunteers to make all that possible. So if you want to volunteer at a one-off event, or some friends of yours that want to, that would always be an event we could definitely use some folks at. Last year was great. We had 250 volunteers, and almost 200 were Columbus Schools employees, which was a wonderful thing. So it's the largest sports qualifier in the entire state, and it's something that we run, so it's something we're very proud of. That we do. I can grab a couple of these more in the chat real quick, Nicole. We do
Okay.
still sell the rooster cards. So if anybody's interested in that, you can reach out to me in my email and I can help get you those. So the rooster cards, just so everybody knows, we sell rooster cards. It's one of our fundraisers. We do have a booster club that helps fund some things just as any other sports do. So they're $10. They give you 10% off at any visits to Roosters. So they pay for themselves in a time or two. And then also on there is what is the minimum age for volunteering? Generally, we try and stick with 16 and up. Depending on what the sport is, we can have some younger participants as well. Something like athletics, we've had some younger folks come out and participate as well, but generally 16 and up.
They're saying they want a Roosters card. Can you tell us a little bit what that exactly is, John?
Yeah, so they're the Rooster cards are they're $10. And then they all the money, it's a program we participate in the Roosters. The cards are $10. It gives you 10% off any of your visits to Roosters, and then that money goes back into our Special Olympics program. So for example, if any of you go to our in-school basketball games, we do pay for the referees that go to that, so that is one of those ways that we help with the cost of those referees.
Anything else that it says, how do we get a Roosters card?
Just the best way to is I just put my email in there. Just shoot me an email and I'll get you in touch with our treasurer from our booster club.
Okay. All right. So there again, John has placed the link in the chat there. Are there any other questions for Mr. John Esson today? Questions? If not, we are so thankful to have you, John, today share. You have been great with partnering with our department in terms of just sharing your information out. And so we look forward to hearing more and seeing more about what your athletes, our students are doing. Everyone is thankful. Their commentary very happy with what you presented today. And so we are very thankful for that as well. I am going to prepare, if we don't have any further questions, I'm going to prepare to put the evaluation link in the chat. So we just ask that you all please fill that out. Our presenters, as well as us as training and development staff, really appreciate your feedback, and that helps us to know the things that you need from us and want more of. If you have no other questions, someone says, please get the info out to all the principals. I'm sure the principals are made aware of everything that you offer. Is that correct, Mr. John?
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things I frankly struggle with, and why I'm always happy to hop on these meetings, is it's tough to get the information out, especially as I think all of you know, here in the school year was a little rough getting started and just finding out who's where at what building. So I generally send out an email to all the building principals with this information at the start of the year. But that might be something I can do more regularly as well. So.
Well, thank you, John. We had Mr. Thompson said he never knew about this information. So we're glad that we were able to have you here today. We do have, looks like, one other question. Let's see, we will have the Special Olympics for all school toward the end of the year, right? So you have the big event.
Yeah, so we have our big in-school track meets towards the end of the year, which are, once again, it's open to any elementary, middle schools, and high schools that want to participate, that have students on an IEP. So if you're not sure if your school signed up already or not, feel free to shoot me an email, and then I can work from there. But we'd love to have everybody out at that event. It's an awesome day. We get 300 or 400 athletes out per day to participate in track meets, and I know a lot of them, it's one of their favorite days of the year.
Thank you for the individual who brought that up. And then Ms. Rondo is asking, are there flyers that could be printed off? Again, I think that's about maybe contacting you directly. Is that right, John? And getting that information? Yeah,
I can make one up real quick and send it out. Okay. That might be right. Maybe I will start doing that as every sports season, send it out to the principals and they can put it up at the schools. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, John, we thank you for your time. We also thank our staff for being here. We're going to give you all a little bit more time back today for your So you owe that to John. So you all should definitely say thank you to Mr. Esson for his time today.